Hi, I'm Zac Farnell. Thank you for joining me for another edition of your Timberlane weather update. Well, since our last forecast, another very well-known meteorologist has made his prediction. That's right, Punxsutawney Phil has said that 6 weeks of early spring are in store. Now, that is certainly true for us in the short term, but some questions arise about where he got his degree as we look towards next week. Now, yesterday, these are the typical temperatures for February, maybe towards late February actually, we'd be seeing something more like this. Just about 40 degrees in towards Boston and towards the north, maybe more towards the 30s and freezing. And overnight, again, another pretty typical night, down towards the 20s, mid-20s, maybe upper 20s and 30s towards the coast. But today is the temperature map that I want to stop and take a look at as it holds both parts of our story for the next week. Right now, we're looking more towards the mid-40s and the warming temperature is certainly beginning to happen. In towards New York, we're already seeing temperatures almost reaching 50, and towards the central part of the Midwest, it's been reaching the 50s, even the 60s for a couple days now. This temperature is certainly going to be moving towards our area, and towards Saturday, maybe even 60 degrees is a possibility. Now, it's not all sunshine, lollipops, and springtime weather. Across much of the northern part of the plains, we begin to see part 2 unfolding already. These areas were looking more towards the 50s and 60s earlier in the week. Now the cold begins to spill down from the north. It's not quite as cold as we saw last month. This is not going to be 0 degrees or any negatives, but certainly below freezing, and these are the high temperatures. So overnight, expect a whole lot colder, and we can begin to see why on the satellite picture. This low pressure system spinning across the mid part of the Great Lakes is causing a huge temperature contrast across the country. In front of these low pressure systems, you typically see some warmer temperatures. Those are locked in across the Midwest right now, and behind it, it digs in, takes some of that cold air from the north, and that's why we begin to see the cold weather spilling across the plains right now. You can certainly see this low pressure system on the fronts map. Look at this, it's dug in here and it does not want to move. Let's take a look across much of our area. The warm front is to our north, so you should be seeing warmer temperatures, and that's why the temperature rise is expected across the south, maybe a couple showers. But the story really begins to unfold as we head in towards Saturday now. This big swath of rain across the midsection of the country, it's going to be mostly cloudiness for us, but don't isolate a couple rain showers, especially overnight in towards Sunday where the cloudiness continues. The warm front is firmly to our north, so look out Saturday again, maybe even 60 degrees if you're looking to hit up the beach, maybe a playground, anything outside. Saturday is the day to do it because as we head towards Sunday, the cold front moves over our area, and the rain moves down towards the south. Along with this rain in the south, we begin to see our troublemaker and why some of the cold air to the northern part of the plains matters so much. This low pressure system down here is going to slide this way as we head towards Monday and Tuesday. Next Tuesday, it's very uncertain right now. You'll see that in the 5-day forecast upcoming, but one model shows it going well south of us. Well south of us means no snow at all. Well, one model says it'll be an absolute storm and a half, maybe even upwards of half a foot of snow. So look out towards next Monday. If this thing does end up being a more aggressive storm and it does overperform what we're looking at right now, we may put out another video to update you on the situation. But it is still a 50-50 chance that this thing flops and we get nothing at all. A quick recap of our 5-day forecast. Friday, you're just about towards 50 degrees, and Saturday, you're hovering right on 60. But look towards Sunday, the cloudiness comes, maybe some rain showers, and the temperature drops a fair bit. Drop continues into Monday and Tuesday, where we see the temperatures get more towards freezing, and that snowstorm potentially in the works begins to come into our area. Next week, we see again a more stable pattern, more towards what we saw earlier this week. The sunshine will be out again, and finally, we will be looking at, again, stable, calm pattern, even if it is in towards the 30s and the 20s even as we get towards later in the week. Thank you for joining me for another edition of your Timberlane weather update. That storm on Tuesday looks like it could be a serious snowmaker, so look out If it does end up dropping some snow, look out for some potential power outages, maybe some travel hazards. But in the meantime, stay alert and stay aware. I'm sure news forecast will be all over that. So as long as you stay on top of that, you'll be getting all the information you need to know. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Zac Farnell, signing off.